Halloween! Oh man, it gets me excited just thinking about it. Dangerously sweet candy, scary movies, college midterms, not that one, and most important of all, Halloween costumes. Yes, overpriced hunks of fabric, latex, polyester, you name it. These things are always a hit during the spookier season. And this series is definitely no stranger to it. Ever since the first game spawned, fans have been fiending over good costumes for the game's titular characters. However, popular costume companies may have slightly overlooked the good part a tiny bit. Since there's quite a lot to these licensed Halloween costumes that have been produced over the years, I've decided to take a little trip down memory lane and see just how strange these things can actually get. Starting with none other than Five Nights at Freddy's debut Halloween costumes, all being distributed and made by Rubies in 2016. Trust me, I'm sure you've bought, or at the very least seen, one of these. Coming in all sorts of sizes, Rubies produced, at first, the main four animatronics from the first game: Freddy, Bonnie, Chica, and Foxy, to varying degrees of success. As there's really not much to talk about with these, cheap plastic ugly mask with a bare bones colored jumpsuit, I decided to purchase the deluxe costume for Chica. Good, she's always been my favorite, and I guess we'll see if she stays that way. Oh, hold on, let me get that. Putting this on for the first time, and, well, I sure have a lot to talk about here. First things first, the actual costume doesn't look that bad. And I like the idea they were going for with the whole animatronic part showing. However, this is where my compliments quickly end. The absolute worst part of this costume is the fabric. While it's somehow extremely soft, it's genuinely some of the most brittle fabric I've ever touched. The fur constantly sheds and gets literally everywhere, and the costume was already ripped before I ever got to open it. Feels like just a few more times of trying this on over and over, and the whole thing's gonna fall apart pretty fast. The body section, while again being a cool idea, is basically just a shirt that for no reason at all has this super weak Velcro grip on the back. This shirt is meant to be worn with these super long gloves, or basically mittens, to create the illusion of an animatronic body. But these just don't really look like this in game, or really anywhere for that matter. The mask, surprisingly, would have probably been the best thing here, if it didn't look so goofy. And I'm no stranger to goofy Chica masks. It's got this really weird smell, lore accurate I guess, and features the same fragile fabric as the rest of the costume. Definitely not something you want to wear while, robbing a bank or something. Wait, someone actually did that? You also might be thinking where the rest of the costume went. Well, these deluxe packages only come with the upper half of a costume, meaning Chica's basically missing her pants here. Add on, then I paid about $50 old for this thing, and you could say I'm feeling a little disappointed. Ruby's first year really wasn't all that. With these subpar costumes, a few plush half-head hat thingies, whatever this is, and these weird-looking masks. Now, look, I'm a sucker for things that look almost offensively silly, and these definitely fit that bill. But like, they're all so fragile, with many of the reviews online almost straight up shattering these flimsy guys. Will we see better masks in the future? Well, don't hold your breath. But if you thought that was it for Rubies, you'd be frankly mistaken, as they would continue to make costumes spanning from 2016 to, well, I honestly don't think they've really stopped yet. Almost a full year after making these costumes, Rubies decided to chip in with a few FNAF 4 ones, being the 4 main Nightmare animatronics. They're all pretty much the same suit glove mask combo like the rest, but of course featuring their more frightening nightmare designs. You could call it that, yes. They also manufactured the deluxe variations for these as well, which actually seem to be slightly better made than the previous ones. And not too long ago was an entire security reach line that even included the likes of Vanny and Vanessa. Albeit no deluxe versions or adult sizes at all this time, but it sure does exist. And honestly, these don't look half bad at all. Well, except for Vanessa, you're definitely better just making your own security guard outfit here. If you haven't noticed already, these are made to have more of a 3D look to them. That definitely makes them stand out compared to just a solid color with a belly and bow tie. It's just the masks that look kinda off. Now I understand why, certainly after getting the deluxe Chica costume, but it does not look that good, I don't know. Nevertheless, these are definitely the best of Ruby's whole lineup. However, they're not the only proprietors here for FNAF costumes. A company that certainly needs no introduction is Bioworld, better known as the people who make some of the worst looking Five Nights at Freddy's merchandise you could possibly lay your eyes upon. They've gotten a bit better over the years, but there's still a few stinkers, trust me. Over time, Bioworld has started to produce more and more costumes for characters in the Five Nights at Freddy's series. I say costumes like that because I'm not really sure what something like this truly qualifies as. What I unfortunately decided to buy from Bioworld's large catalog of FNAF related items is this Bonnie onesie jumpsuit. I don't know. I think it's officially called a hooded union suit. And yeah, I don't really have much to say. This is very bad looking. Bonnie's never been like this purple before, right? He's more of like an indigo color, and even blue, depending on who you ask. And can we just talk about his hood? Bonnie looks more like a sad puppy dog rather than, you know, Bonnie from Five Nights at Freddy's. Maybe it's this way to bring more attention to the costume in general, or I'm just giving them too much credit, and they based it off their usual ugly Bonnie design they use for practically everything. Nope, that's definitely it. Even before I got it, I was questioning why each picture of the suit itself had the model holding the ears up on the costume, almost like they couldn't stand upright on their own. You could say I figured that one out pretty fast. The costume itself is kinda soft, being this fleece-like material, if you can get over the bars of the ears poking into your skull, but overall, it's just a really ugly looking onesie. I'd probably kick you out of my Halloween party if you showed up with this on. Probably the most accessible costumes here can just be found at your local Spirit Halloween, or Spencer's, produced and made by, well, Spirit themselves this time. This year, they seem to have only made costumes for Freddy, Bonnie, Foxy, Glamrock Freddy, and Monty, with Bonnie only being available in kid sizes. Among those, I saw that Spirit was also selling these jumpsuits for Freddy and Foxy. I think I'm getting visions, which, as you've probably seen, seem to be the two main focuses for characters here. I mean, tassel beanies, t-shirts, masks, they basically got everything. And unsurprisingly left Chica completely out of the spooky season. Don't worry, we'll get him next year. Fortunately enough for me, I was able to pick up both Foxy and Glamrock Freddy. I didn't get them all. Look, these are expensive, give me a break. Just putting it on, and Foxy's actually looks pretty well made. Definitely one of the best here. The whole costume is this printed on fabric turned jumpsuit, which, yeah, looks pretty strange on its own, but with the addition of this fairly well-made vest, gives this costume a bit of depth that was lacking in, well, basically every other licensed FNAF costume ever made. I picked up Foxy specifically to show the endoskeleton bits peeking out here, because it actually looks really cool. Add on that this costume features specific details like the segmented fur on his shoulders, 3-finger gloves, which is always fun, and honestly, this costume really doesn't look half bad at all. Well, until you reach the top. Yep, every single costume here has these same flimsy masks that have literally been reused and reused for years now. Just when I thought we were finally getting somewhere with Ruby's deluxe ones, somewhere very lightly, I'll be honest, we're straight back to these old things. Even a small, updated mask of sorts would have been really nice here. I mean, the colors literally don't match at all. But besides that, you've got a pretty decent look for, you know, that one animatronic pirate fox dude. The second Spirit costume I bought was Glamrock Freddy, which cost about $10 more than Foxy, so this really better be worth it. And, well, it's pretty much the same thing. You've got an undersuit, now with added cuffs on the arms and legs, 4-finger gloves this time, not as fun but accurate, and a vest that gives Freddy his shoulder pads and just a larger chest in general. And of course, can't forget the mask. Wait a minute. Isn't this just the Rubies one again, with a vest this time? Yeah, it wasn't too hard to figure this one out, but it's pretty much just an upgraded Rubies costume, using a nearly identical jumpsuit, mask, and gloves, just with the addition of a few cuffs on the wrists and legs, and the vest. Don't get me wrong, the small additions here do make quite a difference in the overall presentation, but I mean, it does feel a bit lazy, right? Especially with the mask being basically the same thing. It definitely works, and is way better than like 90% of everything else here, but it still feels like it's missing something. I mean, where's the lighter? Glamrock Freddy had a finger lighter. Where's the lighter? So, guess that's all gone now. Looking back, sure, the majority of these costumes aren't great, some would say bad even. But there has been a sharp increase in the quality of these things in recent years, especially with Spirit taking up the mantle for Halloween costumes and general products. I bet it's hard to capture these characters' really intricate designs in a $50 costume, I'm sure, but that doesn't make it any less funny to see these companies' past attempts. However, what's not so funny is, well, my house. It burnt down. Does anybody have a good place to stay? This was my only one.